Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for tuning in. So, there's a new documentary out on Netflix called Behind the Curve. Pasquale Raffaello, what's up? Says sup main. What's up, brother? There's a new documentary called Behind the Curve. It's on Netflix. And guys, if you get if you feel like there's too much wind, let me know. Arby in the chat says, "Get a job, kid." Unfortunately, get a real job is what people who hate their jobs say to people who love their jobs. So stop being such a miserable fucking loser and go do something nice with your fucking life, you fucking piece of shit. So we got this new documentary called Behind the Curve, and it's on Netflix right now. So if you have a Netflix account, you can go watch it. And it's causing a lot of buzz right now within the Globe skeptic and the flat Earth community. RB says triggered, not triggered. There's a certain toxicity about butthurt losers where, because they're so miserable with their shitty jobs and their shitty lives, they feel compelled to want to drag people who love their lives. They feel compelled to want to drag them down into their misery, and it's a toxic thing, and it's very tempting to want to succumb to that easy, weak, just deep weakness. It's a comfort zone type of thing. It's a comfort zone. So, I do get butthurt in a sense, because you got to be careful with you little toxic goblins, because, I mean, millions of people work jobs they hate because of little goblins like you. So yeah, I do take that very seriously, because I'm not interested in being a slave. The flatearthchannel.com says $2.79 super chat, and says, "I run a video game studio. The Earth is flat 100%." Are you the same dude that I tried to email the other day? Because you left comments under my godless engineer debate, and you said you run a game studio, and you put your email. I don't know if that's you or not. Get in contact with me. I want to talk to video game developers to explain basic simulations and science to godless engineer. Please get in contact with me. You know where you can do it. Just go to my website, redpillphilosophy.com. There's a place you can contact me. Please, I'll interview you. I'll talk to you, whatever. I want to talk to actual video game designers. So please, and thank you for the super chat. RB continuing with his toxic, poisonous, rat race to the bottom, butthurtness. I mean, let's all be honest here. We all know RB works a job he hates. RB says you're living off the dole. Definitely not making a living off your lame YouTube channel. Well, you're wrong there. But obviously you're just a butthurt troll, and you're not going to stop. So I'll just repeat what I said at the beginning. Get a real job is what people who hate their jobs say to people who love their jobs. So you're not going to suck me into your little goblin spiral. Your little goblin. Flat Earth Channel with another super chat, $2.79, says, "Yes, that's me. I'll check my email." Yeah, I'm pretty sure I emailed you at the right email. So please check that, man. I did email you. I want to talk. I want to talk. Anyway, so let's get back on topic here. Behind the Curve documentary. Wow, a lot of buzz. A lot of people saying it's just a shill documentary to discredit Flat Earth. That, all the names and faces that were in it are all just shills. People saying Mark Sargent, Patricia Steer, Bob from Globebusters, Jaron, everyone's saying that they're all a bunch of shills. And they're saying that the Behind the Curve documentary has destroyed the Flat Earth forever. And here's the thing. Although the Behind the Curve documentary absolutely was a bit of a smear job hit piece, no doubt about it. Did they probably edit things a bit out of context to make Flat Earth look stupid? Of course they did. Ending it with the laser test and, oh shit, it's curved, as if anything in this debate is that conclusive, right? As if anything in this debate is as conclusive as, oh, I just looked through a freaking styrofoam board and boom, we now know the shape of the Earth, right? As if anything in the globe versus flat Earth debate has ever been that conclusive. It's not. But of course, here's the thing. Here's the way I view the Behind the Curve documentary. The way I see it is this. That documentary is about as fair a documentary as you could ever try to possibly make a mainstream documentary about such a taboo topic. Think about it. If you're a mainstream director and you want your documentary to be on Netflix, do you really think your documentary is going to make it onto Netflix if it's 100% in support of Flat Earth? Serious question. Do you think if the Behind the Curve documentary was 100% in favor of Flat Earth, do you think it ever would have been put on Netflix? No way in hell. Never, ever, ever would have made it. Never seen that before. That's a weird setup. It's like fucking water skiing on land or some shit. Yeah, anyways. So if you, Fusion Density says you crushed Godless, and I murked Godless Engineer. Multiple moments of endless silence, just utterly stumped by basic logic and science, and ultimately rage quit. So there's no way a Flat Earth documentary will ever make it onto Netflix. Now here's my real point. That documentary was as fair to Flat Earth as you could ever possibly make it, while still making it onto Netflix. Any more pro Flat Earth and the documentary would have been shunned from every platform. You couldn't have made it any more favorable. And let's be honest, there's some favorability to that documentary. It's a bit favorable in some regards to Flat Earth. So I'm going to give you guys a personal anecdote. John Wayne says, go make feminist videos. You look like a fool. Why don't you just provide actual proof you live on a spinning ball, you utter fucking retard? Jesus. Foolish is thinking you live on the underside of a spinning ball with zero evidence. God, you're so stupid. Rune Thorson says, how is it favorite of Flat Earth? Okay, well, here's the thing. I'm going to give you guys a real personal anecdote. I finally got my dad to watch the documentary. And he was very reluctant because he doesn't like this whole flat earth topic. You know, he hates to talk about it. And I know that it goes against everything he's been taught to believe his whole life about space and the shape of the earth and his place in it. But I finally got him to watch the documentary. And I'll put it to you like this. We started watching it pretty late at night. He had every reason to fall asleep halfway through it. He saw the whole thing. He was really entertained by it. Really entertained by the documentary. And when we were done watching it, he had a newfound burst of enthusiasm for the topic. Normally, he kind of doesn't want to get into it too deep because, you know, he just thinks flat earth is retarded, it's ridiculous, it's impossible. He had a newfound energy and enthusiasm to discuss flat earth with me. And even more, we spent the next hour after the documentary ended discussing it, debating it, and looking at YouTube videos about flat earth. And he was really engaged. And I chalked that up to one simple part, one simple thing that the documentary absolutely does. And I don't think anybody could dispute this. Even if you think it's a hippie smear job, the documentary diminishes the taboo of talking about flat earth. The social taboo that it's crazy to even entertain the discussion. I think that documentary normalizes it for people who have trouble dealing with this topic. People have trouble talking about something that is taboo, socially ostracized, socially mocked, ridiculed, demonized. I don't even have enough fingers on one hand to count the things. D Marble says, high IQ globe skeptics unite. Yeah, I mean, exactly. Like, it's basically like just like this movement of. Oh, I'm back. Sorry about that, guys. I apologize for that. Yeah. So as D Marble said, it's a growing movement of high IQ skeptics, and I've never seen anything like it. And I'm so proud to be about just part of this high IQ movement. You know, of just people with really shockingly high IQs, and really just members of the International Skeptics Society. I'm just so proud to be part of this skeptics, like a skeptics. So, okay, censored by YouTube as well. Censored by YouTube. That's another part of this. So this is a topic that's extremely taboo, and a lot of people are very afraid to even talk about it because they know what happens if you do. YouTube censors you. The intellectual consensus cult members in their educational system, ivory towers, will condemn you and call you stupid. There's just so many reasons. So I think that this documentary, even though it's a bit of a hit piece, even though it obviously kind of edits things in a bit of a deceptive way to make flat earthers look like they've been debunked and they prove the spin of the earth and all this shit, without a doubt, the fact that there's now a mainstream documentary on Netflix normalizing this topic, normalizing that flat earth is a real thing, there's real people, there's real conferences, real meetups, real arguments, real skepticism behind it all. I think there's just no doubt about it that the documentary has at least showed that flat earth is no longer just a fringe thing that you can just ignore as a bunch of crazies. Because you might think flat earthers are stupid because they're wrong about the shape of the earth, but you can't deny that flat earthers have intelligence. It's not like flat earthers And well, let's talk specifically about the ones in this documentary. It's not like these people are raving lunatics who just crawled out of a dumpster. Okay, these are people with jobs, people who have small businesses, people with legitimate skills, like the dude who makes the flat earth models. I mean, that guy has real talent. You might disagree with him on the shape of the earth, but you can't be a raving lunatic who crawls out of a dumpster and have legitimate craftsman skills like the guy who makes those flat earth models, who's featured in the documentary. So here's what I say about the Behind the Curve documentary. I say that although, yes, it misrepresents the scientific experiments about the shape of the earth, it is as favorable towards flat earth as you could possibly be without it being blacklisted by the mainstream sites, by Netflix, by Google, by whatever, all these other sites. You never, ever, 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 ever could make that documentary any more favorable and it be featured on Netflix. So I think, honestly, I think they made it as fair as they possibly could to get maximum mainstream appeal. And I think ultimately it does good. Are the Globetards going to take out of context segments from the documentary and say, oh, look, they prove the earth spins. Oh, look, the laser light proves the earth is a globe. Of course they are. Even though, according to the Globers, refraction could be bending the light up and down. And do they know the conditions of the weather? And do they know the density gradient that was at play during Jeranism's laser test? They probably don't know those details, but they'll always tell you it's refraction that lets you see things that are supposed to be hidden behind the curvature. So only disingenuous Globe cult members, nothing new there, are going to run with this documentary hit piece and think they got a little victory. The mainstream media has been demonizing Globe skepticism, just like being a skeptic. Like people are like skeptics. Like I'm a big fan of like skepticism. Like, hey, are you guys skeptics? Like I'm a skeptic. Like, have you guys ever heard of this thing? It's called skepticism. And there's like this magazine. It's called Skeptic Magazine. And there's also this thing on YouTube. It's called the Skeptic Community. Have you guys heard of the skeptic? Yeah, like I'm so proud to be a skeptic, man. Ever since I became a skeptic, like I see the world in a totally new way ever since I became like an actual skeptic. And I think everybody should be like a skeptic. So we should all be like skeptics. And I hope everybody in the chat is a skeptic. Hashtag we are skeptics, hashtag the Skeptic Society. Just skepticism, man. And not everybody is a fan of skepticism. I found that a lot of the Globe defenders, they don't really like skepticism. They're not skeptics. It's really weird. I couldn't understand that. So yeah, that's what I think. Skeptic. Yeah, so yeah, that's basically my views on the Behind the Curve documentary. Without a doubt. And flatearthchannel.com, I look forward to checking your email. Very, very excited about that. Because retard engineer, godless engineer, he couldn't understand very, very, very basic stuff. Like super basic, like, yeah, there's no way they're using pull to the center of mass gravity formulas on a flat map in Skyrim. There's just no way. It has to be something else. Duh. So he didn't understand that. It was really tough for him to keep up. Rune Thorson says, can one be too skeptical? No, I think that when you call yourself part of the skeptic community and you subscribe to Skeptic Magazine, and when you put the word skeptic in your handle, I'm pretty sure there's no such thing as being too skeptical. Like, no, we're skeptics, and not everybody is a skeptic. And we all need to be skeptics. John Wayne says, flat earth and drugs go hand in hand. Well, I don't do drugs. I think drugs are fucking retarded. So there's that. There's that, people. Corey Alexander says, I almost got into the flat earth, but why can't you see Polaris in the southern hemisphere? Oh, well, shit, that's super easy. You just have to, of course, change your presuppositions about the nature of our world. Yeah, well, why can't you see Polaris from the southern hemisphere? Well, they say that the reason you can't see Polaris from the southern hemisphere is because as you get closer to the equator and then closer to the southern hemisphere, Polaris will appear to descend towards the horizon. If you're at the North Pole, Polaris is right above you. But as you move south towards the equator and then into the southern hemisphere, as you move south, Polaris begins to appear lower and lower in the sky until once you get to the equator, it's right on the horizon. And then when you move past the equator, it is now, according to the globe model, it is now hidden behind the giant curve of the Earth. The horizon curve of the Earth is now blocking Polaris. A massive curve. You have navigated around a giant curve, which looks and feels flat every step of the way from your perspective, but it's a giant ball. And then once you get past the southern hemisphere, and once you get past the equator into the southern hemisphere, Polaris disappears. So they tell you that's because you're going around the curve, and the curve is starting to rise and block Polaris. And well, that just presupposes Polaris is so far away. Emerson Ruby says, you look malnourished, veganism kills. I haven't been vegan for like 6-7 months, so you've just literally debunked yourself. They tell us Polaris is so far away that no amount of your movement across Earth is going to cause its apparent location in the sky to change location due to perspective. Because if you're in a hallway, a long hallway, and you look right above your head, you can see the ceiling of that hallway, like Polaris right above your head. But as you look at the ceiling, further and further and further and further away down the hallway, the ceiling straight above your head will appear to lower down as it gets further away, eventually converging at your eye level horizon. Because the horizon is not a physical thing. It's just the compression point of your vision due to perspective. So, is Polaris appearing to descend in the sky as you move further away from it because you're going behind a curve and the curve is effectively visually rising up to engulf Polaris? Or as you move closer to the equator on a flat Earth, is Polaris appearing to descend in the sky towards the horizon compression zone of your vision because Polaris is actually much closer than they tell us, and so if you move thousands of miles across the Earth, Polaris now appears to descend because it's much closer, and it's effectively a parallax situation. If something is really, 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 really far away, parallax, you basically, you can move many, many thousands of miles and you'll never see the star change. Like when you're driving down the road, there you are driving down the road, you look out the window to your left, you see a bunch of trees right next to you, whizzing by really fast. But then you look at a mountain way in the distance and it takes a long time for it to move. And you look up at the moon and it doesn't even move. Parallax. If something is closer to you, as you move around, it will appear to move its position in your vision quicker if it's closer to you. If it's really, really, really far away, it'll barely move as you move thousands of miles. So could it be that Polaris is much closer than they're telling us, and thousands of miles of movement across the flat Earth will actually cause Polaris to appear to descend, just like in a long hallway, the ceiling further away from you appears lower. It's how your vision works. So good luck finding proof of how far away Polaris is. Good luck, because they ain't got it. And so they're only assuming it's so damn far away that there's no, I mean, basically, as far as parallax goes, no amount of movement across the Earth is going to change its position, apparent position. So basically, instead of Polaris appearing to descend due to perspective, they tell you that it's appearing to descend because the curve of the Earth is rising up to obstruct it as you go around it to the equator. So there's your answer, sir. That is debunked. It is absolutely not conclusive proof that we live on a ball. This Polaris bullshit. I feel like going for a walk, so I'm going to go for a walk. So, wow, bro. Wow. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, just for a moment, I'm going to put my chair here because the wind will blow this chair away if I don't fucking move it. Going for a walk with you motherfuckers. Going for a walk with you motherfuckers. There. Let's drain this battery, bitches. Let's drain this battery. Motherfucker tells me, get a real job. Oh, suck my dick. Suck my dick. Someone says, careful not to fall off the ice edge. Oh, I'm not going to fall off the ice edge. Just going for a walk. Just going for a fucking walk. I'm going to jump into the wilderness now. I'm going to jump into the fucking wilderness now. Yeah, I mean, look, D Marble's got the right idea. Like, hashtag van life, yo. D Marble's got the right idea. Let me tell you, I've had many moments where I'm like, that's it. I'm buying an RV. I'm buying some type of big ass van with all the amenities. I'm doing it. And I never committed to it. Mostly for logistical reasons. Because I feel like there's certain limitations to living in your van, namely like fucking the sanitation process. Like, I don't know, I Like, how do you deal with all that shit? Like, it's got to be like a septic tank. So I guess you got to, I don't know. I don't really know that. I mean, I've heard that, there's places to dump like, your fucking sewage and shit. Um, hopefully I can, I don't remember where the little path is. Oh, D Marble says gym membership. Well, that's pretty, actually, that's wise. That's quite wise. Because, some of these like vans, they got showers and fucking toilets and everything, bro. So it's like, how hardcore do you want to go? But yeah, D Marble's got the right idea, living debt free. I love this topic, so I'm glad D Marble's in the chat, sparked the inspiration. So yeah, I mean, it's like Fight Club, right? It's like Fight Club, right? So Fight Club, work a job you hate so you can get enough money to buy shit you don't need to impress people you don't like. Straight out of Fight Club, right? And so going into debt is a necessity if you want to play this insecure, mentally ill, impress people you don't like rat race. Rat race to the bottom. And I think one of the best examples of this rat race devouring itself is probably the student loan debt crisis. A bunch of kids going to college, not because they really should or even want to, but because they're basically just trying to impress their parents. Make daddy proud. Well, shit, you make daddy proud at what cost? $80,000 in student loan debt? What? Is this the path? See if I can get through here. So, yeah, I'm a big believer in sort of living a bit of a minimalist life, Should you work a job you absolutely hate to make a bunch of money so you can buy a bunch of shit that you don't really even need and don't even really like that much? So you can buy an oversized television and a big plush, nice looking couch and a stupid ass overpriced car just so you can show off to people? And so I just say, why even get wrapped up into that mental illness? Hashtag van life. Hey, it's Gem Panda 2012. Let's just pull out a quote from Gem Panda. Fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson. He can suck my dick. Gem Panda 2019. That's what Gem Panda told me when we were live debating on my channel. When I said that Neil deGrasse Tyson is on video saying that Gem Panda, you absolutely said it. Go back to our live debate and look it up. When I said that Neil deGrasse Tyson is on video saying you cannot see Earth's curvature from 128,000 feet, you said, fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson, he could suck my dick. So this is what happens to the Globers when their consensus starts to clash. Because remember, the Globe side is all about consensus worship. Kind of like how yesterday we found out that the Globers were wrong for the last 60 years about where Earth's atmosphere ends. Yesterday was all over the news, and the European Space Agency announced that Earth's atmosphere, although it was once consensus that it ended at 124,000 miles, it turns out it's nearly 3 times that distance. I mean, many, many times more that distance. Now, the new consensus from the scientific establishment is that the Earth's atmosphere extends past the moon at 394 394,000 miles. So this is why Jen Panda, when we were doing our live debate a few weeks ago, and I pointed out that Neil deGrasse, king of consensus science, is on video saying you can't see Earth's curvature from 128,000 feet. Jen Panda had to say, quote, "Fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson, he can suck my dick." Because when the consensus starts to clash, they have to move the globe post and they have to throw their comrades under the bus, which is fine. But see, that's the position that globe skeptics like myself are taking. We're taking the position that it should be okay that consensus gets it wrong, and sometimes we have to throw out what we once thought was true. You guys used to say the atmosphere ended at 124,000 feet. You guys were wrong. Now it's 400,000 feet. It engulfs the moon, and the moon is now inside our sky. Oh, is the moon out? I don't know. I don't see the moon anywhere. Oh, God. So it's a consensus crisis. It's a consensus crisis for these people. It's a consensus crisis because all they defend is consensus. You'll notice that. They're not interested in truth. They're just interested in what the majority happen to currently believe in. And the moment what the majority happen to currently believe gets thrown out, like how far away Earth's atmosphere extends, they will start to jump on the new consensus. So it's intellectual bandwagoning, and it's not a pursuit of truth. It's a pursuit of a intellectual safe space, hiding amongst the crowd, the mob, the majority, and just going along to get along. Could you imagine if a flat earther came out and said, no, the moon is actually within the Earth's atmosphere? Could you imagine how the globetards would react? Mocking, ridiculing, saying it's impossible. And now the consensus was wrong, and now they're telling us that indeed the moon is within the atmosphere. John Paul says, why are crackers so racist? Well, number one, that sounded a little racist. So I'm not sure if you're sarcastic or not. But number two, if you don't think black people can be racist, then you need to pull your head out of your ass. Oh, racism is everywhere, bruh. Don't doubt it for a second. Don't doubt it for a second, bruh. Not for a second. Now you might think that white people are the only racists because a bunch of white liberals, white liberal Democrat atheists, push that in the media to shit on the lower class whites, which is the only real threat upper class white liberals perceive. Literally, upper class white liberals are so racist that they only shit on their own race. You know, the lower class whites that, you know, might be voting for Trump and might feel a need to collectively organize as a group on a local level. The upper class white liberals will shit and demonize the lower class whites through the media, through politics, while propping up blacks, Hispanics, Asians, and every other fucking minority group out there. That's how little upper class white privileged liberal atheist, take seriously minorities. And if you liberals extend a helping hand to minorities out of compassion and love, boy, oh boy, are you very naive. That's not why they do it. They prop up the minorities and shit on the lower class whites because they view white people as the greatest threat to their power. Think about it. You got people like, what's her name? J.K. Rowling, the ultimate virtue signaling fucking white liberal. J.K. Rowling, author of Harry Potter. Just go to her Twitter account and just listen as that privileged white lady with 400 mansions across the world says we need unchecked mass migration from the third world. But she won't take a single fucking refugee in her goddamn mansions. Because she doesn't actually give a fuck about the little brown people that she claims to care about. With all that money, all that wealth, all that property, she could turn those mansions into refugee camps overnight. But she doesn't. She lives on sprawling mansions in Scotland, you know, just rolling green hills. Come on. When J.K. Rowling wakes up in the morning, she looks in the mirror and sees white. When J.K. Rowling is trying to get a new book deal with the local publishing company, and she's sitting at a giant round table, at the negotiating table, she's sitting around a bunch of white people trying to one-up her and take 10% more of her profits. When J.K. Rowling gets up in the morning and she looks at her sprawling properties and she knows her bank account is exponentially growing every day, she looks in the mirror, she says, oh my God, look at this fucking white menace. Upper class white people's greatest fear is lower class white people. Because white liberals look at their success, look at their power, and they think to themselves, my God, this is, what is the word for it? Not devastating. This is, well, you know what it is. So yeah, once you decipher the race baiting propaganda, you start to understand how it all works. And it's not about helping black people. Hangnailed Truth says, glad to still see you here doing your thing. Been following you for years now. Flat Earth is a game changer for sure. Makes you question everything, and that we do live in a matrix. Yeah, 100%. 100%. Gem Panda, why would you deny that you're on video saying, fuck Neil deGrasse Tyson, he can suck my dick? Like, you said it. It's on video right now. Anybody can go look at it. Like, why would you say I didn't say that if you're on video saying it? I don't understand. That seems like a very simple, like, it's like binary. You either said it or you didn't. It seems kind of weird to deny you said something that's on video. Like, I don't understand that. We got D Marble with the race baiting bullshit in the chat. D, you gotta drop this crap, bro. You gotta drop this bullshit, bro. Come on, man. You gotta. This is liberal propaganda, bro. You are literally being manipulated by the white liberals, bro. Telling you, brother. Telling you, man. Look, here's my thing, bro. Here's my thing. You know, don't complain too much about the evil racist white man and his evil racist white country when you have an entire continent of your peoples, your brothers and sisters, that you can just go to right now and be free of the evil white devil. Be free of the Caucasoid cracker. Wakanda is waiting, man. Wakanda is waiting. So that's my thing, really. That's my thing. It's like this race baiting bullshit, half of it, most of it is manufactured by the media. Pure and simple. Look at this Jussie Smollett motherfucker. This motherfucker made it up. Made it up. Made it up. Faked it. I'm telling you right now, most of the hate crimes you see in the mainstream media nowadays, they're all fake. Hate crime hoaxes. They're all fake. Now, why would they fake it? People think he faked it because he was trying to save his career. I don't believe that. He's taking one for the team and saying, I set it up myself, so people don't investigate deeper and find out who the Democratic operatives are who put him up to it. Bro, I don't believe he did it to save his career. I believe some Democratic operatives put him up to it. And he went and he did it. And he's taking one from the team because he doesn't want... D Marble says, go back to Africa. Cover the travel expenses like the trip over here. Well, I think it was Muhammad Ali who said, and I don't know if this is true, but I heard he said this, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I heard he went to visit Africa, and when he got there, he thought to himself, boy, oh boy, am I glad my ancestors were put into slavery and sent to the West. Because he thought it was chaos in Africa. So, yeah. Listen, it's not that expensive to go to Africa. I mean, so look, that's the thing. It's like, who do we start pointing the finger at? And do we start calling people and generalizing people as a group as racist bigots? And that's my thing. If people are going to jump on this Black Lives Matter, liberal funded, race baiting, anti-white bigotry, and that's what it is, it's bigotry. There's no other way about it. Give a crap what anybody says. In fact, I'd argue that the tables have turned. I would say that white people at this point have been so bending over backwards, figuratively and probably literally, to not be racist, that I would say the tables have fucking turned at this point. Now it's just ridiculous. Now it's just fucking ridiculous. And so yeah, I'm just not buying it. Let me see if D Marble's still in the chat here. Yeah, I say keep race out of flat earth, because I think it's just a divide and conquer silly strategy. And people will say, oh, really easy for you, privileged cracker, to not talk about race. We black people, we can't afford to look past race. I love that. I love that one. It's like, isn't that what Martin Luther King told us to do? To look past skin color, That's what I was taught to do. That's what I've done my whole life. Look past skin color, bruh. You know? But no, now we can't afford to not be race conscious. Now we have to be race conscious. So now you can't even on Halloween, you can't even dress up as an Indian. If you're white, of course. Look, the double standards are ridiculous. It's just through the roof now. And I refuse to be turned into a victim by this horseshit notion that white people are the most oppressive group. Sorry, they're not. And if you think white people are the most oppressive group and that they're a bunch of devils, an inferior race, and that the black man reigns supreme, if you think that, then stop living in a Caucasoid country. Go to Africa, where you have massive population numbers. Go to Wakanda, harvest some vibranium, and you can just take, it shouldn't be hard. It shouldn't be hard to overcome the inferior Caucasoid cave cracker, right? It shouldn't be hard. After all, he's just an inferior Caucasoid. How long is it going to take for the black man to regain his superior Kang's control? How many more centuries do we need here? So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it, man. I'm not buying this bullshit. And I would argue that that's how the white liberal slave plantation works. The white liberal slave plantation works by telling black people that they're oppressed victims and putting them in a begging position under the white man, begging him, oppressive, white power, white supreme, white supremacist white man, you are evil. Give me sympathy. Give me empathy. That's an inherently subjugated position. You are on your knees groveling. But hey, if that's how some people want to go about it, then they can do that. But I'm not going to fall for the white liberal racist propaganda agenda. I'm just not going to fall for it. And I will not be guilted, and I will not be made to think that I am somehow inferior, even though somehow we're inferior white Caucasoids, but we simultaneously have run the world with our white supremacy for hundreds of years. My God, that's like a weird subliminal way of saying you think white people are superior. Oh yeah, let's not even get to black on black slavery. No, I didn't say black on black crime. Don't even get me started on black slavery. Okay? Where do you think white people bought the slaves from? They got them from African tribes, African kings invading, subjugating, and pillaging other black tribes, taking the women and children, and then putting the black men on the market to sell. Listen, this notion that white people are the most evil race on the face of the planet, said it already a million times, it's a white liberal concoction. Namely and mainly to suppress lower class white people. That's all it is. Because upper class privileged white liberals like J.K. Rowling, they don't take black people or brown people or any other minority group. They don't take them seriously. They don't take them seriously. They don't take them seriously. Yes, the highest incidence of slavery in the current day is not in white countries. It's in Africa and regions in the Middle East. Sorry. It's not in white countries. You know, I heard that the British just recently came out of debt, multi-generational debt, because they decided to buy slaves and set them free. Something along those lines. I don't know the exact details. So the British have been in debt for generation upon generation upon generation because they decided, and by the way, they also bought slaves, I think, in Brazil. Brazil had massive amounts of slavery. Now, I don't know if it was just a bunch of white people living in Brazil or who the hell it was, but when I think Brazil, I don't think white people. So I heard there was a lot of slavery in Brazil. So I'm just not going to be guilted. I refuse it. Especially when it's just a psyop by white liberals. Yeah, I'm just not doing it. Just not. Sorry, not doing it. I went through a short period where I really thought that I was bad. I was bad. I was a bad person because because I'm white and that my race is evil. The global oppressors. And just not buying it. Just not buying it. Just not buying it. And of course, none of it adds up. Because nowadays, it's like, it's not just white people are oppressing us. Please stop being mean, superior white man, white supremacy man. Now it's this weird thing where it's like, you're oppressing us, white devil, and you're also an inferior, genetically malformed Caucasoid cave devil. So it's like, wait. I've somehow managed, the white devil race has managed to systematically outsmart the brown people of the entire world and put them in a prison of slavery. But they're also inferior white devils who never invent anything for themselves and stole it all from brown and black and Asian people. I think I don't know if Asians are included. I don't know if Asians are part of the evil racism. What about Asians? Are they racist? What about the Asians, right? Don't they have a lot of academic privilege? What about that? What about that, huh? What about the Asians? What are your thoughts on Asians, D. Marble, and their academic privilege? Are they part of the evil system of privilege and oppression? With those allegedly high IQs, intellectual privilege. Someone says, sick of crackers taking all the credit. Yeah, see, the problem is that the burden of proof isn't looking very good for the we was Kang side of the debate. Because on one level, you're saying that white people have taken over and outsmarted black people with their global system of white supremacy. But at the same time, the we was Kangs are saying white people are inferior cave devils who never invented anything for themselves. They stole it all. And they're also saying the black man is supreme. The black man and woman are supreme kings and queens. But at the same time, you guys can't seem to overcome this inferior white Caucasoid devil. How hard could it be to overthrow a system of inferior white Caucasoid devils? How hard? I mean, if you guys are Wakanda and you guys are kings And you guys were made in the image of God because Jesus was actually black. And you guys are so superior. And you guys got your vibranium in Wakanda. Why can't you overthrow the white devil inferior Caucasoid cave cracker cave beast? Why can't you do it? Why do you have to ask for his empathy and sympathy? And don't give me the argument, oh, we're just, I think I heard Quasimodo. What's her name? Oh, the Black Hitler, the tranny. Black Hitler, you guys seen her on YouTube calling for killing white people or whatever she does? She's like, we're not asking for reparations because we are afraid of you, white devil. We're allowing you to give us reparations or we're going to violently take you over. Oh. Listen, man. Wakanda is where it's at. We was Wakanda. Vibranium, hashtag Vibranium. So Ranty Flat Earth. Hashtag we was Vibranium. We was Vibranium. And look, Black Panther is an insult to black people. It just is. It's an insult, dude. It's a fucking insult, man. The ultimate white liberal propaganda. Oh man, God is muggy. What's up, Clearly Flat Earth? So, those are my views on the topic, and I have my views, and I think it's pretty obvious what's going on. Why this race crisis exists. I think it's very, very clear. I don't think it's ambiguous. I don't think it's nebulous. Very obvious what's happening. It's very, very clear. Jussie Smollett faking a hate crime against himself. What the fuck, bro? What the fuck, bro? I don't even talk about these political topics anymore because I'm so convinced it's just white liberal divide and conquer. I mean, I could have done 1,000 videos on this Jussie Smollett guy. It's the same pattern over and over again. I don't even care to talk about it anymore. I don't care to talk about it anymore. It's just like, God. It's just every day it's another hate crime. White people fucking did something terrible and black people are taking over and they're superior. But for some reason they can't overthrow that inferior white devil. Some weird, stupid shit. You know, Ranty's in the comment section. And you know, he mentioned a story the other day. It was in the mainstream media. Liam Neeson on camera, you know, a candid confession. And then Liam Neeson's like, yes, my white female friend was raped. So I asked her, what did he look like? How tall was he? And she's like, oh, he was whatever, fucking 5 foot, whatever. He's like, was he black? And this is all like on hidden audio record. Not a hidden audio recorder. He knew he was being recorded. Liam Neeson, this actor from most famously known from the Taken franchise. And he asked if the guy who raped her was black. And it was obvious. He didn't ask if he was black because he was specifically obsessed to go beat the crap out of a black guy. He was asking for details about what the assailant looked like. And then in a later interview, Liam Neeson said, the interviewer asked him, if he wasn't black, if it was a white person, would you have been just as angry? He said, of course. And so he wasn't targeting a black person. He just wanted to know the details of who it was. And maybe you can be like, oh, but why did he ask if he was black? Was he suggesting that black people are more inclined to rape or something? And well, I don't know. I don't think anybody's ever asked him that specific question, but so maybe that's where the outrage is. I don't know. Then you start getting into debates about rape statistics. That's a whole other can of worms, isn't it? Look, all I'm saying is this: we need affirmative action in the porn industry. This is all I'm saying. Okay, we need affirmative action right now in the porn industry. Yeah, we could talk about the NBA, we could talk about NFL. We need affirmative action right now in the porn industry. Black men have an unfair advantage in the porn industry, and we have to do something about it because this is not fair. We need affirmative action in the porn industry. We need to give Asian men a helping hand. White men need it too, because this is unfair. And I stand with Martin Luther King. I have a dream that one day black men and white men and Asian men in porno will be judged equally on the content of the character and not the size of their penis. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Oh, fuck. Yeah, we need affirmative action in porn right now. This is a national. Sorry about that. I think I'm back. Am I back? Am I back now? Am I back? All right, I think I'm back. Connection cut off for a moment there. So yeah, we need affirmative action right now in the porn industry. D Marble, I know you're a fighter for civil rights. Will you stand with me to do something about this incredible inequality in the porn industry? This just inequality is just, it's crazy. D Marble, will you take a stand right now against the inequality in the porn industry? Will you take a stand, D Marble? He probably won't, actually, because you know racism is only bad when you're saying something that people aren't proud of. You know, black don't crack. You can say that all day. Once you go black, you never go back. You can say that all day. Black people are endowed. You can say that all day, but if you say, oh, the IQ score's not looking good for the black race, now your whole life comes to an end and you can kiss goodbye to your reputation. So I want to apologize for the stream cutting off. I lost about 40 of you guys. I want to apologize for that. We have to fight institutional inequality wherever it exists. Will you stand with me, D Marble? NBA, NFL, will you stand with me, D Marble? I should start a serious campaign. A parody serious campaign. What is it? Haunted House says they left because you're making an ass of yourself. No, they left because the connection actually cut off. I mean, you don't have to lie, dude. I mean, come on. Globers should know better than to lie. They should all be about science and facts and accuracy. Raziel says, fucking love this channel. Well, I'm glad you like it, bro. Where did D Marble go? I haven't seen him for a while. P. Mars says haunted house is a flat earther who drinks his own urine. Oh, interesting. Didn't know that. He left for Wakanda. Hey, man, that's where it's at, dude. Go to Wakanda, bro. They got science. They got all the inventions. They don't have any white devils there. It's great, dude. Musicians for Truth says, I couldn't argue with your Gillette video. I'm growing a beard now. Yeah, I mean, there's just no, you can't, there's just no argument against it. Like, you know, it's just, you know, the question isn't, should you grow a beard? The question is, why are you shaving it? The question isn't, should you grow a beard? That's going to happen naturally without you even doing anything. The question is, why are you shaving it? Are you shaving it because your boss told you? Are you shaving it because there's a stigma against it? Kind of like how the Globetards have chosen to mock my mustache, of all things. Because they don't like that it's very gravity defying. We like to defy gravity here on Red Pill Philosophy. It's a gravity defying mustache. Twists, twirling it upwards, not a down handlebar shit, which is a disgrace. This is the only good thing to do with a mustache, by the way. So the question is, why are you shaving your beard? And once you realize that you're shaving your beard because you're afraid of getting ridiculed, you're afraid it's going to make you look too masculine and brutish, you're afraid the feminists aren't going to approve of it, your wife is not going to like you because you seem too untamed and wild, and she wants to crack the whip and keep you in her grasp, or it's because Gillette told you better shave, inferior white devil. Evil white devil caucasoid, whatever the reason, once you realize that you never had a good reason to shave it off in the first place, then the natural flow, the path of least resistance, is to stop shaving it off. And people think it's lazy to grow a beard. This takes more effort to maintain than getting a fucking thing every 3 days and just going just like scraping your face off with 5 strokes. That's the lazy thing. That takes no effort. This takes effort. Someone says I have a baby face. Thank you. Sorry, I think we gotta. Nigh by DKK 100 super chat. Thank you very much. Oh, I missed this. We got another super chat from the flatearthchannel.com. CA $2.79. Godless engineer is a mentally ill liberal. Sounds pretty much exactly right. A haunted house. I think he invited me to a stream later with Gem Panda. I'm just not sure I'm in the mood to shout over Gem Panda the way I had to do regularly when I was debating him live on my channel a few weeks ago. Flat Earth Data says this is one of the best channels on YouTube. Thank you. Really appreciate that. Distorted reality, going in with a subliminal JQ question. Have you seen any of No More News' content? He pops up in my recommended all the time, but no, it's I don't really watch his stuff. D Marble, this guy spent 25 minutes going off on me after I dressed some scrubs saying black people are the most violent. Hilarious. Are you talking about me, D Marble? Did you I didn't get to see your answer. Are you going to do anything about the racial inequality in the porn industry? Serious question, D Marble. Will you stand with me? Hashtag, will you stand with me? I'm waiting for your response. D Marble, will you stand with me to fight the inequality in the porn industry? Hashtag fight inequality. D Marble, you haven't answered yet, bruh. It's a simple question. We have to fight against institutional racial inequality, and black men have an undeniable advantage in porn. Will you hashtag stand up against this inequality? When use the Raleigh. Don't know what that means, D. Don't take it too personally, bro. I'm not going to be guilted into thinking that I'm an inferior Caucasoid devil. Sorry. It's not going to happen, dude. I'm not going to do it. Not doing it. You might convince some other self-hating, low self-esteem white people, and they'll go out and they'll fight for you, and they'll call me a racist. But I mean, I know it's way better than that. So we can do way better than that. I still haven't seen. I haven't heard if D Marble is going to stand up and fight against the racial inequality in the porn industry. D Marble is asking, how are we starting the campaign? I just want to know, are you going to stand up and fight against racial inequality in the porn industry? Black men have an unfair advantage. Black men have an unfair advantage in the porn industry. What are we going to do about this? This is not fair. We have to do something about this. D Marble says he needs the logistics of this campaign. I don't know. Let's start by emailing them. Let's start by emailing the porn production companies and saying, listen, black men have an unfair advantage in porn, and we need to have more white men in there. Let's have some quotas, some diversity hires. Let's have some diversity hires. Let's just force white men onto the set. Let's start with that. Will you stand with me on that, D Marble? D Marble. He's just trolling at this point. D Marble, I'm not going to be guilted into being a self-hating white Caucasoid. I'm just not going to do it, D. There's just no way it's going to happen, bro. And I know that disappoints some people who just want a bunch of white people to fight for them, but it's not happening, brother. Sorry. Yep. David King says, yo, D Marble, I think this spick is hating because you are on Netflix docu. By the way, I'm Cuban, so I can say spick. Well, D Marble, I do get a good tan. I got adaptive melanin. So my skin produces a nice little tan when I'm in the sun too long. So I don't know if that puts me on your melanated team. I don't know if that makes me part of your people. Fuck that. I won't be guilted. Really simple. Really simple. D Marble, I'm done with you, brother. Yeah, you're taking this very, very seriously, bro. You really want me as a white ally, don't you? A white ally. There you go. D Marble says he don't need me as an ally. I'm sure you don't, man. I'm sure you don't need white people as your ally. You're gonna take over and kill and take over the white Caucasoid devil, um, with just your people. You know, Wakanda forever. It's going down, bro. And you don't even have to feel like you're a racist the whole time, because you can just say that white people are bigots. Bigots. So yeah, it looks like D Marble is officially butthurt and he's finished. I don't think he's my friend anymore at this point. Um, sorry, D. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna. I am not going to. Uh, uh, Somebody says you and D Marble need to kiss and make up. Nah. I mean, if saying that I, as a white person, am not an inferior white devil, uh, makes me a bad person, then I guess I'm a bad person. I guess I'm a bad person. Someone says allegedly Dave is also a racist. Well, I saw allegedly Dave did some videos about like the history of black people, but I can't remember specifically if he said that white people are inferior cave devils. I can't remember if he went that far. D Marble says, Rune, I was responding to someone in the chat and Chris starts putting words in my mouth. No, I don't think I put words in your mouth. Anybody can go back and watch the live stream and see how it turned out. But the truth is that, yes, I would call it race baiting. Someone says white Cubans run the banking system. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of racism in the world. There's a lot of bigotry. There's a lot of, I was so surprised. I never even thought about it. Black people being racist, I never even thought it was possible. And then the internet revealed so much. The internet revealed that black people can be shockingly racist. I've never seen, like, I mean, the level of racist bigotry from some black people, and even Hispanics too, and Latinos, and pretty much every group. I mean, the amount of racism is shocking. I was really stunned by some of the racism I saw from the black community. It was sickening. I've never seen such bigotry. I was shocked. It was really sick. But I know everybody believes we can stand up against bigotry in all its forms. Flattening Atheism says, here's one undeniable fact. The first person to bring up race in a conversation is the racist. That sounds just about right. That sounds just about right. Every freaking time. Every freaking time. God damn. It's pretty amazing to see the clouds appearing to descend due to perspective into the distance. Pretty impressive. Pretty amazing to see it right there in front of you. Compression. And if this lake went on indefinitely into the quote horizon, you would see it appearing to ramp up towards your eye level and meeting the sky above your head. It would be something. It would be something. Institutional racism in the porn industry. I love it. Ain't no one fighting for that one. Oh, the double standards are the best. I'm just annoyed that the cold weather is pretty much finished for now. So we're not going to have good weather here in Miami for like another uh, 8 months. So now it's just going to be like 8 months of pure misery, humidity, moisture. It's going to be freaking terrible. I wish I'd known about this place. Um, Before the weather heated up. I wish I'd known about it. Wish I'd friggin' known about it. Lady's got the right idea with the freaking umbrella. Someone says, get out of muggy Miami, bro. Yeah. He will get shut down by YouTube. Jin CBR1 says, Chris, Red Pill, I'm an African. I'm not a racist. Let's me and you address the situation together. Come on. Well, I mean, what do you want to address? Just say what you got to say, I guess. Yeah. Simple stuff. Someone says they wish they lived in the warm weather. Sorry, I missed the super chat. Activist News, $2 super chat says, blaming whites, it's stupid. It's clearly the Jews. That's from Activist News. And, well, it's definitely politically incorrect to blame the Jews. So if you're a black race hustler, you know, if you're an Al Sharpton type, it's always easier to blame white people because you will get the support of the media. So it's way easier if you're a victim to just fling shit at white people. Way easier. Because that's politically correct. You turn on the TV and that is politically correct. You're allowed to do it. So it's the easy way out. But is it the truthful way forward? Nope. It's not, I mean, it's nice weather, but sometimes it gets too hot and too humid. It's nice weather, but in the summer, it's a wet oven. That's the best way to describe it. A sauna. It's basically a sauna. That's essentially what it is. It's a sauna. But here's the thing. Now I really got to do a live stream interview with D Marble. See, that's the thing now. Now I really have to do it. We talked about it yesterday, me and him. So now I really got to do it so we can sort this thing out. And he can tell me about the true history of the inferior white Caucasoid. Hey, D Marble, are you still there, man? I want to ask a question. Do you think that white people are an inferior race? Are you still there, D? Let me know in the chat, bro. Do you think white people are an inferior race? I want to know. An hour and a half I've been going on this shit. Gem Panda says, I think flat earthers are an inferior race. What's up, Flat World Logic? $5 super chat from Federal Reserve has committed treason. The real question is, when do we hang the bankers for treason and bear arms against the federal government? Well, there's a lot of people who speculate what the role of the Federal Reserve is. And, you know, is D Marble still there? I want him to confirm if he thinks white people are an inferior race. Just want to get that on the record. It's always a good place to start nowadays when there's so much rampant black racism. Like, I didn't even know that there were so many. I didn't even know that racism could exist in the black community. It was so taboo. And then the internet, you start to see some shocking stuff. And I didn't know that there could be so much racism and bigoted hatefulness in the black community. I was shocked. I didn't think that was possible. I was like, whoa. I thought we were supposed to look past skin color and not be racist. So I don't see D Marble in the chat. I just want to know if he thinks white people are an inferior race or not. It's a real simple question. Lori. Only whites can be racist. See, this is what I was talking about. Weaponized white people. When you have a low self-esteem white person, they get off on attacking other white people who aren't self-hating and actually listen to a few Tony Robbins tapes and learn how to have self-love. Like Tony Robbins said, you should love yourself. So when you're a self-hating white person, white liberal, it's your duty to go try to tear down white people. And of course, some minorities like that because it's take down the white man, take him down. It's fantastic. I was hoping to get a response from D Marble, but I'm not getting it, unfortunately. Fortunately, I think he's left the live stream. I'll get him. I'll ask him later. Simple question. Does D Marble think that white people are an inferior race? Simple question. It's just like a racism gauge I do. Really simple question. Just ask it up front. Hey, do you think white people are inferior? And that's just a good way to spot a racist and a bigot right off bat. Real easy. And it's a simple question. It's like yes or no. Do you think white people are an inferior race? It's just it's an easy question. Really easy question. Does Brother Sanchez think so? Well, Brother Sanchez says flat power. So I don't know what his stance are. I think he may have done some videos about the melanated people and the white race, but I actually have no clue. Sorry guys, the wind is a bit windy. Let me turn away from it for a second and make sure I didn't get any new super chats. No. So yeah, I mean that's basically all it is. And for again, we have this We Was Kangs. They got these We Was Kangs people nowadays who are like, yeah, white people are inferior, but at the same time, they're always complaining and bitching because the white man, in spite of his inferior nature, has somehow maintained a dominant system of white supremacy for hundreds, if not thousands of years. So it's kind of a weird paradox. I'm just waiting for Wakanda to come true. Just waiting for Wakanda to come true. And we'll see when that happens. It's not going to happen because you can't empower your people through racial identity, racism, racial collectivism. And that's the message of empowerment that it takes an enlightened mind to see. Yuri S says, bro, I've seen you went full flat lately. No, I'm not a flat earther. I'm a globe skeptic. D Marble says, my initial comment, find me a group of smirking black men standing around a tree with a, oh, well, hey, I'm glad that D Marble's in the chat. I just wanted to know, man, do you think white people are an inferior race? Just yes or no, kind of a simple question, just to determine, you know, where someone stands on some things. You can just let me know. I think D Marble thinks I'm a KKK member. I see you. Well, that's what I call Black Lives Matter disorder. It's when you are paranoid schizophrenic and think a racism is lying around every corner. It's like when you're walking through a college campus and you look through one of the windows and you see that the lab equipment is covered with a white sheet. And this is a real story. A student thought it was a KKK member. It was a white sheet. D Marble, do you think I'm a racist? Because now you're talking about how you see me and you know it when you see it. Do you think I'm a racist, D Marble? Come on, simple. Simple stuff, D. See, if you're a white person and you don't get on your knees and beg for forgiveness, that makes you a racist. Come on, D. Do you think I'm a racist? You see me, don't you, D? You can see me, right? What do you see? Come on, D Marbles, yes or no? Do you think I'm a racist? Come on. Seems like a simple question. Gene Legend says, you're not an absolute cuck? That makes you a racist. D Marble, I'm good, J1N, just surprised by how quick this went south. Well, no, I mean, come on. D Marble, do you think I'm a racist? Just a straightforward question. See, it didn't go south. It's just that I don't get on my knees and beg for forgiveness for doing nothing wrong. That's what some people call going south. And not doing it. It's really simple. It's really, really simple. It's really simple. Now, if I had gotten on my knees and said white people are a bunch of pieces of shit, inferior Caucasoid devils, maybe this would have gone a lot nicer and smoother, huh? D Marble, you weren't talking to me, but you were making a point about racism, weren't you? I mean, maybe I misinterpreted your quote, and you did reissue it a moment ago. Were you not making a point, essentially saying that you're not going to see black people being racist and hateful the way you're going to see white people standing around ganging up on a black person and committing a hate crime? Isn't that essentially what you were saying? Now, I may have misunderstood the context, but I essentially think that's the point you were making. Let me get my chair here again. Well, because D Marble, I only saw your comment, bro. I didn't see the other person's comment. And in truth, the reason I probably didn't see, let me just get my chair here. Probably didn't see the other person's comment was because your comments stand out because you're a known figure. So your comments stand out a little bit more than other people's comments. Let me just get this chair pulled up here. See, now I'm gonna have to do a live stream with D Marble because now we gotta work through this shit now. You know, the thing, D Marble, is that I'm very, very sensitive to people who talk about how there's racism in the world, because I've seen so many like fake race hoaxes. So I know that they are manipulating, and they're using racism as a tool. So I'm admittedly very sensitive when people claim that white people are racist bigots. I'm not going to bullshit you. D Marble, did you not see any other comments from those saying black people are violent? Was that before or after your comment um, that I just told you I saw, the one that you quoted of yourself? The comment of have you ever seen five black people ganging up on a white person, racist hate crime? Was that before or after your comment? Before. Oh no, I didn't see him, D Marble. And I just want to ask real quick, because we can all denounce racism here. What do you think about the black Hebrew Israelites who stand on street corners and call for beheading and enslaving all inferior white devils? I just want to know, do you get triggered by that racism? I just want to make sure that, you know, you're actually an anti-racist. Just want to make sure that it's sort of like, you know, that you're actually, you know, that racism is bad across the board, you know? Because we can all denounce racism. We can all denounce racism. Um, all right, well, D Marble says racism is bad across the board. So I guess that's basically, you're saying that you denounce the hateful, bigoted racism of the black Hebrew Israelites. Is that basically what you're saying? Well, that's good, bro. And I'm right there with you. You say that racism is bad across the board. I'm right there with you. Of course it is. Um, but I do know that there's a double standard. I do know that if a group of white people stood on a street corner and spent a whole hour shouting at black people in a black neighborhood about how they wanted to behead them and and kill and enslave black people, they wouldn't last 5 minutes before the mainstream media showed up and was just blasting headlines about the terrible bigotry caught on camera. KKK members invade black neighborhood and call for beheading whites. I have never seen a mainstream media news story cover the weekly activism of the black Hebrew Israelites standing on street corners in white neighborhoods calling for killing, beheading, and enslaving all white people. Never seen it. Meanwhile, you tune in to CNN and basically all other mainstream news sources, and it's always about how white people have white privilege, they have a bunch of power, they're taking over, all this terrible stuff. I don't think there's any question that there's a double standard in the media. And you say that the mainstream media doesn't cover KKK rallies, but they absolutely ran with the Jussie Smollett story and use that as an example of how white racist Trump supporters are taking over the whole shit. White racist Trump supporters are taking over the whole shit. So you say that the mainstream media doesn't cover KKK rallies, but they sure as hell ran with a fake hate crime hoax. So, you know, I definitely think there's a double standard. But I'm glad that you denounce racism across the board. And I'm willing to do that too, as long as we're willing to denounce racism across the board. All racism. Meaning we can't go around saying that white people are an inferior Caucasoid race. So that was another question I wanted to know, D Marble. D Marble, do you think that white people are an inferior race? I just want to know because there's a lot of people who think white people are an inferior caucasoid devil. I just want to know your position. Honestly, we should probably be doing this in like a live stream chat together, not this shit over the chat here. But as long as you're here and you're answering questions, I mean, I'll ask you. Um, I mean, do you think that white people are an inferior race? I mean, that should be a pretty simple yes or no, especially from someone who thinks that racism across the board is bad. So, I mean, I think that should be a simple yes or no. Nah, D Marble, he might have left, so maybe that's why he hasn't answered yet. He might have left or something. Well, I don't know. Maybe D Marble left, but I just want to ask, um, D Marble, if you're still in the chat, do you think the white race is an inferior, evil, devil, caucasoid race? I just want to know. Uh, just want to know. I'm sure it's a really simple yes or no answer from somebody who says racism across the board is bad. Um, he probably left. That's all right. It's no big deal. We'll probably talk about it one of these days. Do a live stream together. Talk about this issue. I'd rather not talk about race. I'd rather look past race. You know, that's how I and so many other people were raised. You know, Martin Luther King style. Don't judge people the color of the skin. But now the liberals out there are saying that we can't afford not to look at race. So now we have to be racially obsessed and racially conscious. Now we have to be obsessed. So, anyways, um, anyways. So yeah, that's it. So yeah, racism in the live chat. Some people said there were racist comments against black people, and when I found out that there were racist comments on the internet from black people saying racist, hateful things to whites and Asians and other groups, I was like, wow. So, you know, we shouldn't be racist, but everyone's being racist. So I was like, wow, that's interesting. So, if we're going to get angry about one group of people being racist, then we have to get angry about all of them. It seems pretty basic stuff. Um, well, we'll see. D Marble might come back. Someone says he left. I don't know. But yeah, I do want to know. I want to get an answer on that. If he thinks that the white race is an inferior Caucasoid devil race or not. Frank Gunner says, when are you coming back to Britain? We'll have a pint. Maybe later this year. Who knows? Oh, D Marble says, the white race is neither inferior nor superior. Well, that's about an egalitarian statement as you can make on the matter. So D Marble is basically saying that all races, well, I don't know about all races, but he's saying that the white race is neither inferior nor superior. Well, that's good. That's certainly the mark of a non-racist. But my problem, though, is that falsely accusing white people of a racial hate crime is a racial hate crime against white people. So now we need to start asking ourselves how much of what the media and everybody else calls white racism is actually just a hoax. And we've already seen one recently in the media, and that's just scratching the surface. There's been gazillions of these fake hate crime hoaxes. Fake hate crime hoaxes. So falsely accusing white people of a racial hate crime is a racial hate crime against white people. It's true. It really is true. So we really need to dive deep into the details and find out where we get our accusations that white people are being hateful and racist. Anyways, this is why I stopped talking about race years ago, because it was a horse that was beaten to death, and I basically came to the conclusion that pretty much this entire race topic is just garbage, divide and conquer, perpetuated by the media, and I just wasn't falling for it anymore. And life is just so much better when you stop obsessing about race and you stop getting into debates about race and racism, and you just walk through the world as an individual, unplugged from the TV and the media, and you realize that world's nowhere near as hostile as the TV makes it seem. So I'd rather not talk about it. I'd rather just unplug. Clearly, Flat Earth says exactly. Kyle King says yes. Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to talk about this topic because it is redundant. It is very redundant. But the problem is that I've come to the conclusion, this is my honest to God conclusion, that a large chunk of the so-called white racism that the media talks about is not actually racism. Half of it is just hoaxes. Half of it is misrepresentations, and that's it. So I just can't believe in the bullshit anymore. Does racism exist? Oh yeah, of course it does. D Marble says there was somebody saying something racist about black people in the chat, and obviously racism exists. But the thing is that it exists all across the board, both sides, all 3, 4, 5, 6 sides, every race does racist shit. And so that for me kind of neutralizes the discussion. It's basically a null point. And JK says I went in on D Marble for no reason. I didn't go in on D Marble. I mean, I guess you could say I kind of did, but I saw him basically saying something that suggested he was falling for the media narrative that white people are a bunch of Nazi bigots. And again, when you turn on the media, that's basically all you hear. And so I'm not going to lie. I'm very sensitive to that hateful propaganda, that bigoted, hateful propaganda. I'm very sensitive to it. And I don't take it lightly when people fall for it and perpetuate it. So I don't know what else to say, really. But I'm definitely not a racist. So I hope I don't think D Marble ever confirmed yes or no if he thinks I'm a racist. I can't remember what he said. And that's fine. And honestly, it's gotten to the point now where the smearing of quote white people in the media, which is really just smearing of Trump supporters, because you can be a black Trump supporter and the media will smear the shit out of you. I mean, for example, like a year ago, there's a cheesecake factory here in Miami. D Marble says that's odd. The media teaches society to fear black people. That's propaganda too. Well, I guess there's just racist propaganda coming from all sides then, because we all know that the media also teaches black people to fear white people. A bunch of KKK racists coming to get you. They're going to do what they did to Jussie Smollett. Oh shit, Jussie Smollett did it to himself. Fuck, that's weird. Why would Jussie Smollett stage a hate crime hoax against himself? Oh, because the white liberal media and the white liberal society and culture will give you free brownie points and give you a little one-up and a helping hand. They've created a victim complex where you can profit off of being a victim. That doesn't sound like a good thing for black people. Doesn't sound very empowering. So, yeah, I mean, you can say the media has certain negative stereotypes towards black people, but I kind of feel like it goes in all directions, which is again why I'd rather just unplug from it and not talk about race. Not fucking talk about it. Um, where was I going? Somebody said something here. La 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 la. Da, 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 Laurie, so on that, I agree with Red Pill. Laurie agrees with me. It's breaking news, everybody. Uh, Laurie agrees with Red Pill philosophy. Breaking news. Breaking news. Let me just get live. I got 15% battery left. Surprised this lasted this long, honestly. I forgot where I was going. Yeah, anyways. Yep. So, anyways, yeah, D. Marble said that the white race is not inferior and it's not superior. So that's at least the egalitarian approach to the race topic. That's what I was raised to believe in. Martin Luther King style, public schooling, Martin Luther King, look past race, judge people by the content of the character, not by the color of the skin. That's what I was raised to believe in. And then something weird happened a few years ago where the mainstream media suddenly started just utterly race baiting and using fake hate crime hoaxes to demonize a certain race of people. And then I started to see videos of black Hebrew Israelites standing on street corners in white neighborhoods shouting at white people as they walk by, saying they're going to behead white people, going to kill white people, going to rape their daughters, going to enslave their babies. And no one did anything about it. No one did anything about it. Uh, it's like I mean, yeah, free speech, right? Let them say it. Do you think if a group of freaking white people were standing on the street corners calling for the death of all black people, do you really think they're just gonna respect free speech, bro? Hey, maybe, but maybe the police will from a legal perspective, but it will be only a few seconds before a mob of white people show up to basically shut down the other race's white people. D. Marble says, I think those Hebrew Israelites are COINTELPRO. Well, that's good. That's good. You know, that's good to hear. You know, again, a few years ago, I started to see that the mainstream media, it became their whole freaking thing was shit on one race of people, shit on white people, use fake hate crime hoaxes. And by the way, these hate crime hoaxes that they've been reporting on, first of all, they don't report them as hoaxes. They report them as real. They've been happening for years. Jussie Smollett is just a tipping point where finally there's been some justice brought to these fake hate crime hoaxes. So I just saw the media constantly saying white people are racist pieces of shit. Black Lives Matter coming out, and you know they're basically they're ripping the microphone out of Bernie Sanders' hands, and now apparently to not be racist means to let Black Lives Matter storm the stage, rip the mic out of your hand, and say whatever the hell they want. It's like, what? This doesn't sound very egalitarian. This doesn't sound like D. Marble's the white race is not inferior or superior. The egalitarian approach, which is my view. Let's look past race and let's not be racists. Um, this doesn't sound like this egalitarian view that D. Marble holds and that I hold. It doesn't sound like it. What's going on here? Um, and then I saw videos of the Black Hebrew Israelites in their shocking racist, bigoted ways, and I'm like, oh, it looks like every side is racist. It looks like racism is across the board. So whereas in older years, I always assumed white people are the bigots, so we have to fight against that. I recently learned that black people can be bigots too. And so now it was like, well, if it's not this sort of imbalanced white people are the racist and black people aren't, then why should I get worked up about it to begin with? It's almost like the racism has kind of balanced itself out at this point. So yeah, I mean, it's this kind of thing where I would say in older times it was sort of a default obligation for a white person to have to basically be like, I am vehemently anti-racist, because how dare those evil white people gang up on the poor minorities. But that's not what I see anymore. I think the tables have turned a little bit. And so now my stance is basically, I don't care. I'm not going to get involved. I'm not going to fucking obsess about race. It's great clickbait, but it's just a redundant, toxic topic. And life is a lot better when you just don't think about it. And so that's my view. So, D. Marble, when I saw you say this thing about, and again, you say you were reacting to a racist comment in the comment section. Fine. I don't condone it. And it's good to hear that you don't condone Black Hebrew Israelites calling for the beheading and enslaving of all white people. I'm glad you're taking a stance against it. I'm glad. So, I got a little triggered because I thought you were pushing the mainstream narrative about how white people are evil oppressors, and and nowadays, white people being evil oppressors kind of goes hand in hand with this we was Kang's inferior cave cracker stuff. I mean, it just that's the politics of the left right now. Now it's not just that white people are devil racists. Now it's that they're also inferior, genetically inferior Caucasoids. So So if you felt like I went in on you, D. Marble, then I was a bit triggered. I was a bit triggered. Because I never thought, I never saw ever in my whole life, I never saw a single media report showing black people being racist and saying racist, hateful shit. Never saw it. And then I started to see it on the internet, and I was surprised. I was shocked. I'm like, what is this? I didn't even know this was possible. So that's my view anyways. We have a super chat from the flatearthchannel.com. Australia does not exist. Thoughts? 1587 map doesn't have Australia on the map. I have no idea, bro. Let me switch hands here. Fucking wrist is breaking. And so that's the thing. I can kind of understand how D. Marble might interpret my views as me potentially being... I mean, I don't know exactly what you meant, D, about, I see you. I don't know if that was like, you think I'm a racist. I don't know what it was. I can understand why you'd think that. But again, I've already kind of reiterated this enough times. I think I've reiterated enough times. You know where I'm coming from at this point. So my view is just basically like, I think every side of the fence is being racist nowadays. And so, it's just the Martin Luther King era, the public schooling era, and the mainstream media today. They're pushing this racial egalitarian stuff, but now they're also saying that white people are inherently the worst people on the face of the earth. They push these hate crime hoaxes like Jussie Smollett, um, and then you got people on all sides being racist. So yeah. Someone says I'm intentionally acting like an idiot for YouTube money. Nope. Bob Kin says $5 super chat. Let's talk about the human race. Well, that's that racial egalitarianism stuff. Look past skin color, right? But the thing is, if we're gonna look past skin color, everybody's got to look past skin color. Everyone's got to do it, every side, and we also can't push fake hate crime hoaxes. We can't push fake hate crime hoaxes as our evidence for white people being bigots. We have to actually have real cases of racism, not hate crime hoaxes like Jussie Smollett. And that's my problem, is that it seems like most of the white racism nowadays, I would say most of it is hate crime hoax. It's my opinion. Hate crime hoax. Hey, I've been a victim of racism before. I remember many years ago I would play Xbox Live video games, and there'd be these white dudes I'd be playing against in Halo, and I don't even know. I mean, I think I have a pretty standard English accent, but somehow they knew I have some Spanish Hispanic in me, and they would make fun of my accent. They wouldn't even see my face or anything. They just hear me talking over the fucking mic, and they would know that I'm not 100% white American, and they'd like call me Mexican and laugh and tell me to go mow their lawns. I'm like, I thought I had a pretty standard white English accent. I'm surprised, but I guess they can tell. I guess there's something Cuban in me still. So, but I don't take it personally. Whatever. Who cares? Who the hell cares? I mean, it's just words. And that's actually kind of my view is, I'm not saying we should crack down on the black Hebrew Israelites and not let them believe and talk the shit they talk. Someone says I sound like a wetback. I'm saying let them have whatever the fuck, let them say whatever they want to say, let them believe whatever they want to say, the black Hebrew racist, bigoted Israelites. But I don't, in the name of equality, I guess we kind of got to let, white racists think what they want to think too. If we're going to let the black Hebrew bigots think what they want to think and say what they want to say. So it's kind of an ironic thing. I'm kind of calling for equality here. But we can't have equality if we have double standards. Just double check the super chat, because I think I got one. Yeah, I missed one. Okay, well, first let me stick with, does Australia exist? And I'm going to run out of batteries soon. Does Australia exist? 1587 map doesn't show it. I don't know. I have no idea. Wolfie's from Australia, and he's one of the top tier globe defenders. So, coincidence? $10 super chat from Brian Colserman. Sorry, it's hard to see. Thanks for the videos, man. I never made a conscious connection between globe Earth and certain cultural phenomena until I took flat Earth more seriously because of your videos. Has flat Earth changed your thoughts on God? Yeah, a little bit. I've always believed that there's some type of sentient intelligence in the universe. I wouldn't say I stuck to any particular religion, and I wouldn't say I stuck to any particular view necessarily, but I always thought that consciousness is the proof that there's a God. And flat Earth, if the Earth is flat and is the center of the universe, then that's basically an instant. You instantly have to think there's a creator. So yes, if the Earth is flat, center of the universe, then I absolutely believe that this thing was created by some intelligence. Yeah. Live chat. Anyways. Well, I'm probably gonna run out of battery soon, so I might as well end it before it just cuts off. Thank you for everybody for tuning in. 2 hours and 11 fucking minutes. So again, thank you for everybody for tuning in. Thank you for the conversation. I think we had a really good conversation. I'd rather not talk about the race subject because I think it's just mainstream media divide and conquer mental illness. D Marble, if you're still listening, thank you, brother. Thanks for the conversation. Maybe we'll do it in a live chat one of these days. And yeah, bro. If I misrepresented or misunderstood or misinterpreted your comment, then my bad, bro. And that's that. All right, everybody. Thank you guys for watching. See you guys soon. Talk to you later. X out of this shit.